Good day once again, and welcome to another fascinating edition of Wisdom Class TV series with me, the Purpose Doctor, Pastor Wisdom Eyefia. Today's episode promises to be interesting and thrilling. It will also be educating while entertaining us. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Adversity is a school.
Government need to invest more in our health sector.
We don't pray for trouble, they come. So we call them the uncertain entities.
It has been so unique.
Welcome back to Wisdom Class TV series. We are talking on emotional abuse, and it's likened to shipwreck because it is as sensitive as it implies. Our emotional intelligence is what gives us understanding of how to walk with others judiciously and emphatically. So, what happens when we do otherwise to people? Lots of people complain about being victim of blame they know nothing about, or even spreading rumors about a person, which is far demeaning than anything else. So, what happens when we do otherwise to people? Lots of people complain about being victim of blame they know nothing about, or even spreading rumors about a person, which is far demeaning than anything else. We are still discussing emotional shipwreck, which is the adverse effects of his abuse. And some people brush off emotional abuse as not as harmful as physical or sexual violence. I won't be dealing with this topic alone. I have with me a wonderful Conrade Olivia Eyefia. Oliver, you are welcome to this program.
Thank you for having me.
And the wonderful lady is joining us also, the person of Onyenakwe Joy, Ogechi. You are welcome to Wisdom Class TV series. Thank you for joining us. So starting from Olivia, what is your view on this emotional shipwreck, emotional abuse?
Thank you very much, sir. It's a nice one, the Purpose Doctor. The word abuse from the dictionary meaning it has to do with rude, forceful, trying to impose in a way that is not proper. And so when one undergo or is faced with emotional abuse, it means that his or her rights has been pounded upon in a way that is not willing to give. Somebody forcefully takes it. And such has reduced so many persons in the society. The way and manner they were hurt, they felt it, either in a family circle or in a place of worship or a place of academics. As time progresses, where they now find themselves being attractive to, often at times to opposite sex, it will be a place of work, and because of, call it sexual satisfaction, people forcefully pound upon their rights. At the end of the day, it makes this person look down. It makes them feel weak and not feel belonging to the society. It has made so many to take their life by themselves. It has also made some persons not to take the next step of life again. Perhaps the way and manner it has happened to them. We can use the word rape. We can use the word sexual abuse. That's what we are discussing. And so for some that are maybe either in their youthful age or in their child age, that's when they were still small, something that transpired then, that illusion, that experience, it just keep occurring to them, and they just feel as if the world is falling on them. So it will take a counselor, it will take somebody who understands better to reposition them back to the society. It has made many persons lost out of love. It has made so many persons lost out of faith. And it has also made some persons to take to drugs abuse. It has made some persons to now perpetually involve in crimes because they want to retaliate, or they felt they cannot leave the situation they once found themselves. Thank you.
I think you are very right. I love I love your approach. But then, anything you do to somebody that will make the person to withdraw, influences the persons, or when you try to control somebody, maybe verbally, or in whichever way you are influencing, is a direct influence on somebody's attitude and behavior. So whatever you do that brings the person now begins to withdraw. Person feel unwanted, person feels guilty, person feels shame. It's an emotional abuse. And most times it is verbal. Talking to people harshly, yelling at people,
beating.
It affects them psychologically, and they don't do well. So, Ogechi, Joy, it's your turn now. Probably you can tell us the signs and symptoms. Maybe you will have mentioned some, but just out of your own. Just let us see if you have something to add.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, when we talk about emotional abuse, emotions has to do with our feelings, how we feel. Then when we talk about emotional abuse, it has to do with hurting someone's feeling, regardless of how the person feels. You hurt someone's feelings, and this thing happens. Some people hurt people, they abuse people emotionally, and they don't even know. They don't even know, because when they hurt people, when they abuse people emotionally, they feel, okay, they've done the right thing. But when you go back to the person they've hurt, the person keeps feeling bad. And when the signs and symptoms of emotional abuse, first, it can cause low self-esteem. The person feels inferior. The person can also feel unwanted. It can also lead to so many other things. Well, I can give instances of emotional abuse, like when you're trying to do some things and all of a sudden someone comes out of somewhere and tells you, what are you trying to do? This thing amounts to nothing and all of that. The person might feel, okay, I have the right to say this to this person, but you are hurting the person's feeling deep down. We should always like encouraging people, but when we abuse someone emotionally, the signs and symptoms, one, it can cause low self-esteem, and it can also make the person feel unwanted and feel he or she doesn't belong.
Thank you so much for that response. Thank you. But you said something. You see, you said that the abuser might not be doing it intentionally. No, there is an intention. The abuser wants to control you, so he shouts on you. He wants to manipulate you. He wants to coerce you. He has an intention.
Okay,
you think he did not plan it?
Often at times, it is unknown.
Yes,
it's unknown to the abuser.
Some
no.
By way of intimidation.
Yes.
Some go by way of dressing. Some go by way of flashy.
Okay.
Some go by way, like for example, for students.
I like
somebody
that.
Just bought an iPhone,
yes.
and somebody is using maybe this small phone of Nokia 3310,
yes.
and somebody just come and say, "Look at my phone." Excuse me, my boyfriend bought this for me. For you, do not have a boyfriend whose parents cannot meet up such.
Okay.
You feel degraded.
Okay.
And you are not seeing that you are not in that class.
Okay.
Some will come and go, maybe every year and now you see them in a boutique.
Okay.
Always want to change their wares.
Yes.
Unknowingly to them, some secretly admiring, I wish I am that person.
Okay.
And because they cannot have it, they look intimidated.
Okay.
And sometimes the abuser is just like you have in politics. Two persons comes, they want to run for the same election.
Yes.
The first thing, somebody will come with a fleet of cars,
yes.
somebody will come with bag of money,
yes.
and the other person that's supposed to have reputation for such position do not have the check money to go for such. He's being intimidated unknowingly to the person that is intimidating to him now. That is your profile. So by the word emotional abuse now, that's forceful, the improper way of such persons now. The food, the drink, the party, the celebration, and academic environment too. By example, a lecturer meets a student and tells the student, okay, I want you. If you don't do this, you will fail the course. He must have not said it out of meaning, but maybe somebody have heard from somewhere before. And if you have heard from somewhere before, you will not say, for example, physics, chemistry. Some persons have not studied physics, but they just have that fear about physics. It's also about emotion too. That's my view, sir.
I like your view, that you have tried to split the subject into two. But I will not say you are wrong. I think you are right.
Thank you,
we
sir.
have split it into two, where you have an emotional abuser with intention,
Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
an emotional abuser unknowingly,
Yes.
no intention. You are very right. We develop the subject in that regard. So, when does our actions towards others become an emotional abuse? Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back. Adversity is a school.
Government need to invest more in our health sector.
We don't pray for trouble, they come. So we call them the offsetting entities.
It has been so unique.
Welcome back to Wisdom Class TV series with the Purpose Doctor. I hope we are seeing things in a different and we are learning. I told us from the beginning today that we are going to be educated while being entertained. So let's get back to our focus as we fix this wreck. Once again, we have two wonderful guests with us for this episode. From the far left, we have Okpako Benson. Benson, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate
And a lady also very wonderful, Voke Efe Palmer. Thank you for being with us in this program. So one more time, let's begin with Benson. Can emotional abuse lead to mental disorder?
Thank you very much. Let me start by defining emotion. The happiest people on earth are those who are emotionally involved in whatever they are doing. So emotional abuse can lead to disorder. For example, a lady who loves a man wholeheartedly, at the tail end, he will not disorganize her. That can lead to mental disorder.
Okay.
Secondly, I called you, my friend. You said you need capital to start up a business. I look at it, I said, okay, let me run around. I gave you 500,000 to start the business. What I have, you're not even picking my call. It can lead to mental disorder. Another thing, again, if we have an agreement, because they say no law, no sin. If we have an agreement and you break that agreement, it can also lead to mental disorder. Like I said, I can use the politician. Those in the grassroots, maybe we are friends far back in the secondary school. You promised me that you will stand by me. But because of money, you betrayed me. It can lead to emotional abuse. I have so many, but let me allow my other to speak on the topic. Thank you very much.
That's very right.
Yes, sir.
Very accurate. I like that. So we are looking at emotional abuse leading to psychological and mental disorders, because that is what it actually is. Anything that affects somebody's psychological, when we are talking about psychological disorders like depression, anxiety, these are mental disorders. So when you are abusing somebody, the person will be depressed.
Yes, let me refer. There's a lady in Delta State University. She's a lecturer in science department.
Okay.
This lady spent all her life with this young man. The man is in, I think she'll be in the USA. He did not return back. As I'm telling you now, the lady, she's sick. She has a car. Yes, she cannot drive. She cannot even eat because she's thinking of that guy.
Acute stress.
I'm telling
disorder.
you. So I think we should learn from that. We should keep to our promise. We should be focused and we should be committed if we're into a relationship, because love is responsibility.
Thank you so much. So over to Voke. Please, can you tell me, how do you know you are being emotionally abused, or how do you know when you are heading for a shipwreck?
Well, the thing about emotional abuse is that it doesn't come from just anybody. It comes from the people that are most dear to you, people that are most important to you, your family, your closest friends, people that you share intimacy, you have intimacy with. Okay, so these people have access to you, they've seen you at your most vulnerable point. So when you begin to question, when they begin to put you at points or at situations where you begin to question your worth, you begin to question your essence, you begin to question deep things about yourself. You no longer feel comfortable being about this and being around this person. You begin to feel like I'm not my best self with this person. This person is supposed to be my lover or my partner or my spouse. This person is supposed to be my parent.
You know, as African children, you can, as Africans or as Nigerians, if we ask a lot of people that have grown up even to my level or to my age right now, and they'll tell you a lot of them experience so much emotional abuse growing up. And it matters, and it affects them. It affects their self-esteem. You see a lot of teenagers committing suicide. Why? Because of depression that comes from a lot of abuse around them. So you know these things when you're not your happiest selves. The people that are around you are supposed to be people that will bring out the best from you. So when you are not your best self around these people, when you're not being your most productive, your most expressive self around these people, when you find yourself not being excited, instead you feel like, oh, you have to change something about yourself. Someone is consistently questioning your, you know, how intelligent you are or something. You begin to know, okay, this is not the kind of energy I want to have around me. When you begin to feel like, oh, am I, or you know, it begins to affect your confidence. Things like that. You begin to know, okay, this person or this energy, this environment is not best for me. Because if you don't pay attention to these things, at some point, you realize that you begin to nurse it in. You begin to internalize the statements or the energy that these people are having around you. And at some point, you begin to fall into depression. That's how depression starts, from abuse, from negative energy. Okay. Depression doesn't come from within you. It comes from outside of you. When you begin to internalize negative energy or negative comments or things from around you, from your parents, from your friends, from your spouse, and the rest, you begin to take it in. That's how you start being abused. And we see a lot of women we talk about domestic violence, that's physical abuse a lot of times. But emotional abuse is what people don't pay attention to. When the person that's supposed to be your lover, your husband, the person you're supposed to be spending your life with, is the person pointing to your flaws, making you feel less than yourself, making you feel like you're nothing, making you feel like you're not productive. That is emotional abuse. Because you've given this person access to you. You're giving this person access to see yourself, your vulnerable self. You don't give just anybody access. I don't know some of these people sitting here. What they say or what they do will not affect me. But what my mother will say can get me in tears. And over time, that's how depression comes in. That's a lot of things. You see women begin to gain weight because they're losing their lifestyles. Even though they're still alive, they're losing their life. So you begin to notice these things when you're not your best self with the people that should bring out the best in you.
Thank you so much. You can see some of the signs and symptoms. When you are scared, you are in a relationship, somebody that is supposed to make you feel good, you see yourself suddenly, you are scared. Talking to the person or talking with the person, that is a sign of emotional abuse. And you just find yourself trapped because the person is actually trying to control your self-worth, trying to undermine you. Or the person could just be dismissive. You say something and the person just feels it is nothing. You know, these are all forms of emotional abuse, and it can lead to a shipwreck. You find yourself so trapped. And the funny thing is about most people that are being emotionally abused, they are so insecure that they can't even, and they don't want to leave the relationship. So they are trapped. It's a trap. You remain there, you suffer. And that is what emotional abuse is. So over to you, Benson. Now, what can you advise victims of emotional abuse out there?
Personally, I would say that imitation lead to limitation. Okay. Be yourself. Another thing I want to say, divisional level lead to specialization. Permit you to mention one word, emotion. Okay. We have it in marriage. Most men will say women education and education because they don't know what to do with them in the parlor. Most women today, they are having that emotional abuse because the men cannot handle that. That is why they have, let me use the word, most of them have boyfriends. But my advice to my viewer today, I would say, be self-confident, be yourself, pray, ask questions, be enlightened. Because they say Jesus started the prayer and ended the prayer. So my advice to them is to be themselves. Choose your friends wisely. I think your association may also guide you.
It's very important because we are told that you are an average of 5 people that you surround yourself with. So the people you associate with is important. Yeah. They will help you. And over to Voke. what do you have to say to parents and guardians out there, instructors and employers, emotionally abusing others in the name of chastising them?
The truth is, you can never be so sure where the line is between correcting someone and abusing the person. That is why there has to be a lot of sensitivity with your approach. As people, when you have people under you, you have kids that you're responsible for, or you have workers you're responsible for, it's important to see yourself as a leader, and every leader has to have emotional intelligence. When you do not have emotional intelligence, you cannot lead people. It is not advisable to lead anybody. So the first step to checking yourself is to get emotional intelligence. Consistently build on your emotional intelligence. Consistently build on your emotional intelligence. You can never be too sure until the ship, as you say, has already wrecked. Before you realize, oh, I have been attacking this person with my words, I've been ruining this person with my words. You may never know. It might just be your own system of just talking, okay, or probably the place you grew up in, your environment, that's how you've been conditioned to speak. Whereas you go to a different place and realize your words are attacking someone, they're putting the person down, they're really defeating that person. Okay, so you can never know, okay, I'm abusing this person emotionally. But what you can do, however, is to have emotional intelligence. When you know, okay, this is what I'm about to say to this person, is this the best way to put it? It can be true, but it will have no effect if you've attacked the person's emotions, because every person is an emotional person. Every person. There's this saying that women are emotional, men are logical. Men are logical, still based on emotion. So at the end of the day, everybody is emotional. So when you understand that this thing that is going to be received, this I'm about to say, how will this person receive it? It will make no sense at all. No sense. If you're trying to help this person's life, trying to give that person advice, but your advice is coming with the wrong packaging. There's a saying that what you say is not as important as how you say it. So when it comes to emotional abuse, manipulation and all of that, manipulation is another level where you actually know you are manipulating this person. But a lot of times, I'm talking about right now, emotional abuse as regards when you may or may not know. So just have emotional intelligence. Because the truth is, these people that have been put in your care, you will give account for them, especially as parents. These your kids you're raising now, you're not raising them so that they will pay you back in the future. No, you're raising them because God has put people in your care, people that will change the world in your care. So how you raise these people, how you condition their minds, how you build them up is very important. You might be training that person or training that child to be someone that will not be able to even stand in front of people and speak tomorrow. Why? Because if you attack them so much that they no longer have any confidence, no, they don't have the right estimation of themselves. They don't have it in order. So when you understand that when you get to heaven, you're going to answer to God, you're going to give account for this child, this person that has been put in your care, you will have to think twice before you say just anything. So when you understand that this child is going to grow up, he's not going to remain a child forever, and how you have conditioned them emotionally will be the platform with which they will stand and build themselves in future, you have to be very careful.
Thank you so much. I like that. So, but we will not be putting an end to this episode without talking about what to do. It's important. Now, let me tell you, emotional abuse is a reportable offense. It will get to an extent that you feel threatened, you have to call the police if necessary. When your life is threatened, it's a reportable offense. But if it has not got to that stage, you need to seek help. Talk to somebody. Get help. Confide in somebody. Talk to someone. There are counselors out there that can help you. So you must also know that it is not your fault. If you are being abused, it's not your fault at all. So don't allow yourself to be shipwrecked. Don't allow yourself to be shipwrecked. Our time is fast spent and we are going to draw the curtains. Though it feels like the program should just keep on going and going. But of course, everything that has a beginning surely must come to an end. We have come to the end of today's program. We appreciate you for joining us, all our guests, even right in the audience and the people behind the scene. Thank you for being part of the show. Please follow us on Facebook. You have Wisdom Class, on Instagram, Wisdom Class TV, and even on YouTube, Wisdom Class TV. Thank you. God bless you.